Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 20 of Through the Mist Jazz Hands. Today, we are joined by a very special guest, Chaz Calendar, who is going to be playing. Well, we'll find out who Chaz is going to be playing as we dive in. But just a quick recap, everyone had returned to Alphonse Calve's manor to kind of regroup, catch up with the magistrate, let them know what's going on, try and get some more details. Dizzy had been charged with murder, but had found out that that was a dirty lie that was trying to be instigated by these jackal wares who apparently think your group might be a threat to them, given that the last time they were free, it was a group of adventurers who had banish them to their prison dimension. Does that sound about right? Okay. At the end of the episode, everyone had kind of taken a rest. Everyone had gone to their rooms that the magistrate had provided for you, fallen asleep. Lilith, you're just, kind of resting the way you do, fading in and out of, awareness. And then before dawn, you start hearing this noise, like this thumping on the floor, and there's like a heavy breathing noise, and you're kind of not sure what's going on. And so you had flared out this purple light with your clericness, and standing next to Lyra's bed, but not like you don't see Lyra. You noticed there is a large humanoid figure, but its head is this wild-eyed, staring, kind of like almost frothing at the mouth elk head with this rack of horns. You do notice that it is holding Lyra's dagger. What do you do?
Man, I feel like this is all super bad. So, I'm gonna immediately. Well, how close is this thing to Lyra?
You don't see Lyra. Lyra's bed is empty. The sheets have been tossed. The pillow's laying on the ground. So you don't see
Okay.
Lyra.
Oh boy. Um, I'm gonna immediately moonbeam the the creature.
Yeah. Okay. Um.
Oh boy.
So, Lyra, you
Yep.
you are you're in a forest. It's a dark forest, and it feels familiar to you, kind of comforting, but you feel like on edge. Like there's something in the forest that you need to be aware of, that you're wary of its presence. And so as you stand there and you kind of look around, your eyes taking in the dim light around you. It's early in the morning. The sun's maybe going to be up here soon. And then you hear a crack of a twig and you begin to run, like knowing that this thing is out there and after you, and you don't feel like it's something that you can necessarily protect yourself from. And as you bound through the forest, you hear other running, almost like it reminds you of like others of your kind, but it's heavier and maybe with more purpose as it's chasing after you. And you glance behind you and you see a horse like jump over a large log, and on the horse's back is a person with a large like metal staff that the person points at you, and over this weird staff you can see them glaring down the length of it, their wild bushy gray hair flying back in the wind. What do you do?
Does this person look familiar to me?
He does.
Perhaps from paintings I may have seen?
Let's do an intelligence check.
Okay. Straight intelligence. Hmm. Uh,
So there's like this fleeting memory of having seen that portrait, but then it's like
okay.
it's just like background noise in your thoughts of
Right.
running and trying to get away.
It's kind of
Um,
like when you see somebody and you're like, wait a second, I know you. How do I know? Why? Maybe I don't. Type
yeah,
of like. Okay. Um. Well, Lyra sees this, and it's a weapon, and whether or not she would recognize this person or not is kind of irrelevant at the moment because there's a weapon being aimed at her,
yeah,
and she knows better than to run in a straight line. um, so she's gonna try to like, while she's running, like kind of like, I mean, she's half wood elf, right? So she's gonna try to like hop over like roots and trees and like around different trees and like she's running, but like not in a straight line.
yeah,
She's trying to like,
yeah.
especially because
As
this
you
person was on
bound
a
around,
horse, so like the tighter the space, the better.
as you bound around, you find it's like easier than you imagine. Like it's you're running so fast and so hard, and like your lungs are pumping, but it's not that difficult. Like you don't really feel that kind of typical wear of having to like push this hard to run to keep ahead of a horse. And as you bound around, you hear this thunderous boom, this cracking noise that just echoes through the forest, and there's like this whining that goes by your ear, and this explosion of wood shards from a tree nearby, and you veer off to the right to avoid it. And you see ahead of you this growing light. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Rogue, make a dex saving throw. I swear to God, if this is Bumble.
It'll be a 2. 18's not bad. I'm pretty sure when Adela comes back. Hey Adela, what's your moonbeam DC there?
Oh gosh, that's such a good question. Let's see. Oh, I don't know. Hold on. 13?
13. Okay, and then is it save for half or save for nothing?
Half.
Okay, go ahead and roll your damage. And as you're doing that, you see this creature like lunges to the right and like smashes into the dresser that's there that has the porcelain like wash basin and stuff, and this just goes flying and smashing against the wall. Lyra, you see this light, and then all of a sudden it's just like this beam focusing at you, and so you dodge out of the way, and it just sears your side, and you smell like burning hair as you take. You'll take 9 radiant damage.
Oh no!
Fantastic.
It seems that there is a person in the flaring light. You can see a person standing in the woods. They're maybe 20 feet away, off to your left now, and they make an intelligence check for me.
Okay. Okay. Oh my God! Again.
Yeah, so
Where are my physical dice?
this person seems familiar as you like take in their white hair and their kind of like long orange and yellow tabard. And there's a symbol on it that seems familiar to you, but it just doesn't make sense why it would be familiar. And so you dodge away, but it seemed like that light that burned you came from them. What do you do?
Well, in this moment, Lyra, it's hard because Lyra like definitely has had instances like this in real life. So I don't know if she would like know that she's dreaming, right?
Right.
Like where she's being chased and she's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. You know,
It
gotta
definitely
go.
feels real in the moment right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So like I don't know if she'd know she was dreaming. So she straight up runs away from them. Like probably if it comes from that person, she's veering like diagonally away from them.
Okay.
Like fast as she can go. So
So-
movement dash, like, you know, just like I'm going as much as she can.
Perfect.
More acrobatic than athletic, but you know.
So, Mick, if you could have Dizzy make a perception check, and Chaz, have Marie make a perception check.
How did that go through?
It did. Marie, you hear some kerfuffle. It's really hard to tell where it is as you're kind of like making your rounds around the outside of the building, or yeah, on the outside of the building. You're walking the grounds and you kind of look around and you're trying to like figure out where it came from. But Dizzy, you're like jolted awake by the sound of breaking. There was like some like breaking noises, like heavy thuds and a crash. But then like the one that really gets you is the sound of like a large pane of glass just shattering as Lyra, you jump away from these people, and Lilith, you see this figure just jump and smash through the window and out and lands outside. Lyra, make a dex save.
Okay.
You didn't realize that the way you were jumping had kind of a drop off, and so it's lower than you expected. And as you hit the ground, nice, you just managed to roll with it, and you bound along, and ahead of you see like an open clearing in this forest, which in your mind you know it'll be easier to run that way, but also it will give your followers, your hunters, better access to shoot at you. So what do you do?
She'd rather not be shot at, so she's gonna go the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lilith, what are you doing?
What am I seeing? So my moonbeam is hitting this creature thing. Is the creature still there? Or...
No, so it like veers away from it to the left, smashes into that dresser, glares at you, and then just runs to the right. As you're facing, it'd be to your left, and jumps and smashes out the window, and you see its antlers still as like it runs off to the right as opposed to out into the courtyard.
So Lilith is immediately going to get everybody else involved. Just knock on the door over to try and get Dizzy and everybody.
Okay, so Dizzy, you hear this noise. What do you do?
I'm gonna like head in that direction.
Okay. Make a perception check for me real quick. Okay. So you head out towards the hallway. You open the door just as Lilith is coming out of her door. And Lilith, what do you say to Dizzy? Or Dizzy? Oh, sorry.
I have no idea what's happened to Lyra. There's just some crazy beastie in our room. I moonbeamed it and it took off, and I described like, off to the right. I don't know what's going on, but Lyra's nowhere to be found. We got to figure out what's going on and find her.
All right. Do you think it was a jackalware or?
No, it had horns. It was like this crazy horse type creature, elk type creature. Maybe a camelid. I don't know, because I wasn't paying that much attention to it. But it wasn't a jackalware.
No, I need like direct, strict, like very intricate explanations of its anatomy. Come on.
But it left. And
all right, well, let's chase after it.
Found.
Maybe it knows where Lyra is.
If it was a friend. I saw her knife. I don't know. Like, what if it killed her and took her knife? We don't know.
So when you say you want to chase after her, which way do you want to go there?
Down and to the right.
So you're gonna jump out the window?
No, I'm gonna go out the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not jumping out of a window.
Okay. All right. So as you run down the stairs that are nearby towards the front, you do notice like there are some of the night workers that just kind of like take care of things. You were actually had dinner with them the first night you were here. They're looking around like, what is going on? And you dash past them, and outside, you notice the night guards that are out there are also looking around like they heard something, but not necessarily sure what they are. Speaking of night guards, so Marie, you hear this noise, and so you're actively looking around, and all of a sudden this like 9-foot tall creature barrels around the corner. It has this enormous rack of spiky horns. You do notice the glint of a dagger in its massive paw. What do you do?
In my time as a night guard, is the 9-foot creature with a dagger like a commonality? Like, it's just there goes.
Not really. Like, you have been told that you need to keep an eye out for strange things because there are shape-shifting creatures on the loose that really have the city's best interests not to heart. So that's maybe the first thing that crosses your mind.
Gotcha. So nowhere in that did they say kill the creature, so I'm gonna cast blindness on it.
Okay. So as you do that, what is your particular blindness magic look like?
I think like it's lots of shadows, like red shadow, like floats around the eyes.
Okay.
Not mine though.
Yeah, around your eyes. I can't see it.
I can't see. No, the wrong target again. Dang it.
I really need to make that class. The like you roll and randomly it just happens to you instead. Anyway, Lyra, make I believe it's a wisdom save or con save.
I want to say wisdom. I will double check.
So Chaz, I haven't got to tell you this, but we were playing with Fickle Fate rules, which means every time my dog barks, someone has to roll a die.
Right.
And since you're new to this game and you're kind of actively taking your turn, why don't you just roll any die for me?
Can do. Also, it is con, not.
Okay. So
roll the thing. Like a one's good, right? Like a one's excellent.
Yeah, one's great. Lyra, go ahead and roll that con save for
okay.
the spell.
Okay. Oh my god.
Excellent. Chaz, make a dex save.
Oh my god, is Lyra just gonna bowl me over with a dagger?
It's a 7-foot tall ghost monster with horns, thank you.
Right, is this 7-foot tall ghost monster gonna bowl me over with a dagger?
I mean, we all know it's her, but like...
I don't know what you're talking about. Amazing. So, Lyra, go ahead and roll 2d6 for me while I'm explaining this. So, Marie, this creature turns around the corner. You, like, rapidly go through your mind on what you should do. You cast your magic. You see the effect take hold. And as it's running towards you, it just begins to, like, lean into its run, almost like it's trying to stay up as it's like blinded, and so it's just kind of like thrashing about, but then it just leans into it, and you realize just a split second too late that it's not going to stop and you are in its path. And so you go to jump out of its way, and those horns just gore into you. You're going to take 11 piercing damage. And then you're just like, it's like kind of a mix between piercing and bludgeoning as you are like, you know, you get hit by the antlers and then you get mowed down, like you get rolled under this creature as it tramples over you, and its lower feet are hooves, and so they just like stomp on you. And you're prone and you're feeling a little worse for wear, but I believe you're still up, yes?
I'm still up.
Okay.
But how do we do the things, concentration checks?
So it's half damage or 10, whichever's higher. So It would have been 11, so that would be 6, so 10 would be, and you rolled an 11, so darkness is still up. All right, so while that's happening, Lilith and Dizzy, you burst out of the front door. You see the guards looking around confusedly. What do you do?
Ask around to see what direction this thing went.
So
If it's
it
more
would have
information.
gone out the back of the building, and you went out the front of the building to get out through the door. So if it went right out the back, it would be left going out the front.
So then I will remember where I saw it going.
Sure.
And let Dizzy know that we have to go around back, but not
All
before
right.
we tell the guards there's a beast. I think it's still Lyra, and we're running after it.
Okay. Excellent.
All right.
Excellent. Dizzy, what do you do about that? Are you just following?
Yeah, I'm just gonna follow because I don't really know what's going on. I just woke up from my slumber to the sounds of chaos.
Right? Okay. So as the two of you run along the side of the building, make a perception check for me.
Well, it wasn't a one this time.
Right? You do hear noises ahead of you. You do feel like you are heading in the right direction, but it's hard to make out exactly what's going on. It's going to take you a little bit more to get to the side of the building, so while that's going on, Lyra, so as you had been running through essentially along the length of this clearing with the forest whipping by on the right and the clearing on your left, you haven't seen the hunter or that other figure come out of the forest behind you, but then suddenly there's this person in front of you. You don't recognize her, but she whips her hand towards you, and all you see is red all of a sudden. It's just like this weird sensation of being blinded. There's still like color, but you can't see anything, and so you just react by lowering your head and charging. And there is definitely like a thump. There's the impact of this, and you feel this like form fall under your hooves as you like are stomping on it, trying to get away, and then you're past it and you're running. What do you do?
I mean, Lyra's not the type of person to feel bad, especially if you know, this person like shot something towards her that makes her like stumble and all this other stuff. She probably does give like a quick glance back, right? To be like, oh crap. Also, you said hooves, does she feel like herself?
Make a charisma check. Actually, make a charisma saving throw if you are
Okay.
proficient.
No, she's not. She's not a very charismatic person, as we've learned.
Not bad. There is like this sudden, you notice something, because for a moment you catch that there's a building there and it's not the forest as you glance back and you see this person who's garbed like a guard, and the guard uniform looks familiar. You don't recognize the person who's what is Marie doing as this creature's running away? Are you getting up? Are you just laying there?
I mean, Marie's getting up, but like, Marie's getting up and trying to like maintain the blindness spell,
Okay.
so that we can subdue this creature.
So yeah, Lyra, you see. Actually, I guess you don't see. God, let me back up. Instead of that, so you made your charisma save to see whether you felt like yourself as you felt this thing happen. There is a moment where it like kind of glimmers in your mind that you're wondering why you're not stabbing this person with your knife instead.
Right.
And then
She's
it's
a
just
very
gone. It
savvy
makes way
person.
more sense to just, hit them with your antlers and then mow them down, like trample them.
In that moment, Lyra's like,
Sorry about that.
I don't think she just probably like goes to feel for her dagger, right? Because she's like, Like I throw these things. I stab with it. I'm a stabby person.
There's this really weird sensation as one, you realize you're holding one of your daggers in your hand, but you're also running, and the sensation of running is with all of your limbs. So it's like this disconnect between your body and your perception.
She hates it. She absolutely despises it.
Hated it.
Hated it. Yeah, she already like sometimes feels like she's crazy in this place. So now this is just, even more like, what is happening? She probably slows a little bit while this is happening, right? Like slows her running just because she's like so confused, honestly. So she's probably not running as fast. Like she just bowled somebody over. She hasn't seen the other people in a minute. I mean, she can't really see that well anyway. So also she probably like slowed a little bit because of that. So she's not running as fast now.
Okay.
And she's trying to like figure out what the heck is happening. Why is she running? Right? Like, wait, why am I running? Where am I running? Why am I being chased? I know I'm being chased, but why?
Yeah.
What happened?
Okay. So Dizzy and Lilith, as you come around the corner, you see this creature just kind of like slowly slow down. Like they're running, and they're kind of running towards you, but in a diagonal towards essentially what looks like the other corner of the courtyard. You see a guard probably 30-40 feet just beyond this creature. The guard is getting up and is looking after the creature. It looks like maybe they got ran over. There's like hoof marks on them, and you notice that the creature has like this kind of it's moving just slightly, this reddish haze over its eyes, and it's kind of tossing its head, but seems like it's calming down a bit. What do you do?
I think Lilith is gonna walk up and hold her hand out, just kind of assuming that it was maybe scared of the moonbeam previously. So it's kind of threatening, but kind of not threatening as well. Like, whoa. Okay. Let's see what's going on. And just simply say hello. But she's also going to cast her light as well for protection for her and Dizzy.
Is that the same one that you cast to light up the room? Like, is that already going on, or is that a different thing?
It's the same one to light up the room.
So yeah, it's already going on.
Okay.
Awesome. So as you do that, Dizzy, what are you doing?
Well, since I see that Lilith is, reaching out to the creature, is the creature a humanoid, or like what is the classification?
Gotcha. It's kind of hard to tell if it's a humanoid. It looks vaguely humanoid shaped in its body, but it has this like massive elk head and rack of antlers that are very spiky.
Okay.
It has hooves instead of like feet, and its hands look a little like they look humanish, but are covered in fur.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I can think of right now is that part in Moana where it's like shark head.
I would like to cast Calm Emotions.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Does that only work on humanoids?
Yes.
All right.
Well, it says each humanoid, yeah.
Does the person in the sphere, like, do people get saves, or?
Oh, it doesn't. Okay. It says, you attempt to suppress strong emotions, blah, blah, blah. They must make a charisma saving throw. A creature can choose to fail this throw if it wishes. If the creature fails its saving throw, choose one of the following two effects.
Okay. So, what effect are you going for?
So does the creature seem frightened? I guess I would suppress the frightened.
Okay.
If it's frightened, because I wouldn't know if it was charmed. I think it's frightened.
Okay. It definitely appears frightened. The way it's acting, and from what Lilith explained to you, you get the feeling that would be the better option. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Lyra, you feel this just like sense of calm wash over you, like as the sun's rising and its rays hit you, you realize, it's not so bad. These people aren't here to hurt you. You don't see the hunter, which you know is there to hurt you and get you, but you apparently lost the hunter. So why don't you tell me if you want to roll a charisma save or choose to fail it?
Lyra would probably. I mean, I'm gonna roll it because I think she's confused enough right now that I don't think she would try to fail it. I think she's pretty vulnerable to anything right
Gotcha.
in the moment. So charisma save.
Excellent. So yeah, it sets in. You just feel calm all of a sudden, and there's this familiar scent as a person walks up to you and kind of rubs your muzzle, rubs your nose, and it's
like that. No touchy. No touchy.
It's like this person is very familiar to you. You can't see them, but you definitely know that scent. And then they say, I'm sorry, did you say it's okay or something like that? What did you say, Adela?
Oh, yeah, it's okay. They're there. It's okay.
And you know that voice. It definitely is calming to you. So you just kind of chill out and maybe stamp a hoof, but just...
I mean, the touchy thing's probably no, and a head type of I mean, do you ever calm down like a horse or anything like that? How they're
yeah,
but then they're kind of
so
probably
Lilith,
pretty similar to that.
There's a moment where the thing's head shakes as you're you're trying to hold your hand out to it and kind of do that thing that you with horses where you get them on the chin. And the horns come a little close to you, but it doesn't look like it was an attack, more like just a shake of its head. And that reddish miasma is still over its eyes. You get the feeling it can't see you.
Oh boy. And so the knife, Lyra's knife, is that still a visible thing? Is there any other indicators that would... Okay. I would like to roll another perception to see if it clicks in that it might actually not be a beastie, but in fact our friend.
Sure. Why don't we do Yeah, perception is great. And while you're doing that, Marie, you see these two people come around, and you had been told that they were guests. So you've seen them before. You haven't really interacted with them, but you know they're guests of the manse, and they seem to be calming this creature. What do you do?
So we'll be running full speed ahead until I see the calming action. Then I'll slow down.
Okay.
Eyes from the creature and just be like, "Are you're a guest of? You're the guests. Are you okay?"
So that would be Dizzy and Lilith when she comes back.
I'm just confused. That's all.
You're not the only one.
Lilith is going to kind of turn to face you, and at this point, does she get any kind of indication that she thinks this might be her friend? With that
amazing roll, I'm gonna say no.
Super amazing roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Lilith is just gonna be it's just super weird that Lyra's dagger is being held by this creature, but I don't think this creature is looking to harm us. I don't even think it can see. And then kind of look at the guard.
Whose eyes are still on the creature, oh no, it can't see, I blinded it.
That makes sense. But I think it's not here to harm us, possibly. I don't know.
I'm gonna look at my gore wound and be like, well, it's definitely not safe. At the very least, we need to restrain it until we figure out what it is, because I have never come across a creature like this in my time.
I think Lilith wants to try and put it to sleep.
Like permanently? Like
Yeah, I was like,
Whoa, like we've got this accelerated very quickly.
right?
Lyra is just FYI, can't magically be put to sleep.
Yeah.
Out there.
Okay.
Which may help them figure it out. Let's find out. Go ahead and roll your dice.
Okey-doke. Let's see. How on earth do I do that?
And as you do this, like, you notice there are like a couple of like ground squirrels that are nearby that like fall asleep. But it doesn't seem to affect this creature whatsoever. Make another perception check. And Dizzy, go ahead and make one as well. Much better, Lilith.
I'm just
Dizzy's
not
out here
doing well.
The dice are
Dizzy
not
should
working
still have
in
to
your
sleep the
favor.
entire time.
So Dizzy, you're just like confused, trying to figure out what's going on. There's this guard that you've like kind of noticed before but haven't talked to. Lilith is like, I'm just gonna try and put it to sleep, and it doesn't work. And as that happens, Lilith, if you're listening, it does click in your head that the magic doesn't affect this creature. And there was a moment way back in like episode 7 or something like that where you remember catching a glance of Lyra, that Lyra's eyes had changed and seemed rather elk-like. Like there was that like weird obvious difference to it.
I have an out of character question.
Yeah, absolutely.
That dials back even further to this goddamn elk. When Lyra first encountered it, when they couldn't see her, they didn't see what happened with her and it, right?
They did not.
Okay.
What they saw
cool.
was it tried to run you through and then disappeared.
Right. Well, no, they couldn't see her. I thought it was just charged towards them.
I know you were just kind of standing there going, but they couldn't see
Right.
what you were doing in your
Right. Okay.
reality.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. I couldn't remember what they had seen, what they had not seen. and things
Totally.
Like that. So yeah.
It's
Cool,
been a
cool,
little
cool.
bit.
Yeah. Oh, the callback. I hate this thing.
So Adela, did you hear that explanation?
Yes,
Okay,
I
cool.
did. And so Lilith is going to kind of like, I think this might be
Eureka!
Lyra. And I'm going to ask it if it is Lyra. And I'm going to ask normal, and then I'm going to ask in my Thule voice.
Okay.
Are you
Lyra,
Lyra?
why don't you make a charisma saving throw for me?
Oh, she's tired.
This voice that seems very calming, very recognizable to you, asks if you are Lyra, and there's just no connection there. Like with what the words mean, like you're just not really getting it. But you feel pretty chill about it.
Yeah, Lyra's just like, well, not Lyra, whatever, whoever she is right now. She's just, there's no answer. There's no like physical response either. She's just like, probably like a soft like puff or something, Yeah, like a.
All right, so Dizzy, what are you doing?
I don't know. Dizzy is just very confused about everything that's going on right now. So he's gonna turn to the guard and just be like, "So is this like a normal night for you, or like is this
It started out pretty normal until giant jackal or giant elks came out of nowhere. Um, I'm fairly new-ish, but never have I ever seen anything like this.
So you probably weren't here when our dear friend jumped out of the window earlier.
I think I heard something like a crash, but I couldn't figure out where it came from.
So Lilith, as you say that, there's no response. There's no. The creature just kind of stands there and goes.
All right. And is the creature still blind?
It is for. It's
Like 10 more seconds.
yeah, because it's a
There's
minute,
second.
right?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Lilith is just going to kind of nod. She thinks it's Lyra, and she's actually going to pat it stealthily on the muzzle, even though she knows Lyra's not going to like it.
So Lyra, as the red vapors that have been covering your eyes just kind of fade away, you see this like very tall white-haired woman who looks very pallid. Her cheeks are kind of sunken, her eyes are kind of hollowed out, but she's raising her hand to like pat you on the muzzle. Make me one more charisma saving throw at advantage now that you can see these people.
Cool. Also, Lyra would probably bite her.
Right.
Just there's a hand coming towards her. Oh my god.
Whoo. When you
When
get
advantage
a 2,
rolls you a 2.
right? Go ahead and roll a d20.
Okay.
Add your dex modifier.
Okay. I'm just gonna roll my dex then, because the button will roll a d20 plus 4.
Such a good idea.
Oh my god.
Whew. Lilith, like you go to do it, and all of a sudden, and you see it coming. The creature like gnashes its teeth towards your hand, like, "Don't touch me." But the red mist has faded away from its eyes. It looks like it can see you. Marie, what's that?
Well, I would like to see if there's any kind of like shiny mirror-like thing close at hand to hold up a mirror to this thing.
There aren't shiny mirror-like things, but it is getting lighter out here, and the inside is darker, and there's some windows over there that you can notice you're all being reflected in pretty well.
I'm gonna point over to those windows and motion for it to come and look.
Okay. While that's happening, Marie, what are you doing?
I think after the attempted bite, I'm going to follow closely behind, because I can't let the Alphonse's guests be attacked.
Okay.
But Lilith seems like she knows what she's doing, so I'll just follow close behind, sword at hand, just in case.
And as you notice that as this is happening, some of the other guards have come around the corner, and actually some of the other house workers and such come around, and they're all just kind of like grouping up. The guards have their swords out and are watching. What do you do for them?
I'll tell the guards, like, stop wasting time, come back us up, like, we might need to restrain it.
Yeah, so they head your direction. Jizzy, as this is happening, what do you do?
So I see the creature try to bite Lilith.
You do.
Okay. I am going to I'm gonna cast Friends.
Which I believe...
Does that show up? Okay, I think I had to click something special for it to
Perfect.
show up in the
Charisma.
chat.
And your DC is... Was it
I think it's
13?
13.
All right. let's see how your amazing charisma rolls go there, Lyra.
Oh, lovely. You know, it's such a good time. The way that this also, like, historically, whenever I've played Lyra in whatever game, she's a long-standing character of mine, the dice hate her. Like, if anybody of my friends is watching right now who's played with her...
Not saying I haven't noticed.
Yeah, the dice usually hate her.
Yeah, you managed to shrug off this kind of feeling that comes over you as this person that seems familiar, but you just can't quite connect it. There's this like wash of kind of friendliness that comes over you, but then just kind of drains away and leaves you feeling a little... Does it say, sorry, realizes magic has been used to influence their mood and becomes hostile toward you. So the friendliness fades away, and there's this like feeling that like floods in after it. That's just like, why would you do that?
Especially because Lyra has been magically manipulated, like, probably every other day since she's been in this godforsaken place. So she's just not pleased. She probably like off some like headbutts or something, like just like you know, like, stop it.
Let's do a dex check for, or dex save for Dizzy.
Well, that's something that I'm good at.
Oh
Oh,
man,
except-
the dice are
wow.
not. Maybe there's like some
Yeah.
weird algorithm that they put in where you can't roll above a 10.
I don't know, like this.
Whew.
And after I said I
RNG
was
is
good
not
at it,
our
too.
friend today.
Right? Lyra, are you
Oh,
intending to
man.
do harm or just push them?
I'm really sorry, but she probably wants to like smack them or something like.
Yeah.
So,
That's fair.
yeah.
We'll have to do a d6 because you're not
D6?
trampling them.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, as your magic washes over this creature, you get the feeling it doesn't take hold, and it looks at you, takes a couple of steps, and then just like swipes its horns at you. You get grazed for 4 damage. Marie, you've kind of been watching for it to become violent. What do you do?
So I'm gonna tell the guards to like try to restrain it, jump on it, put your body weight on it. It is like very large,
Yeah.
but you know, we're guards, so like enough of us should just be able to like doggy pile on top.
So essentially, you want to do a group grapple.
A group. I love that group grapple.
Group
Good
grapple.
old
That should
GG.
be a feat or
A
something.
Grupple.
A grouple.
Whew. Why don't you, Marie, do a athletics check?
Are you athletic, Marie? I don't think you are. What do you do, Marie?
How did we roll 3 11s for those 3 guys?
Straight down.
Doof, doof, doof.
Okay.
Can I get advantage for the grouple?
What's that?
Can I get advantage for the grouple?
It's a grouple.
Yes.
So Lyra, do either an acrobatics or an athletics, your choice. It is possible that Lyra's going to roll. No,
Yep.
she
Nope,
is
we can't.
not. Lyra, you see these people that you don't really recognize. Maybe there's like a certain level of recognition there that like you've noticed them before, but not like they're not like your friends or anything. They come like at you and they try to grab you and stuff, and you're just like, everyone stop trying to fucking touch me. And you just dodge out of the way.
She probably, honestly, like, she probably tries to speak. Can she speak?
She cannot.
Okay.
But you can try to speak, and everyone hears. Wow, wow. What would you
Like,
say?
very pissed off, like, equestrian sounding noises, right? Because elves are equestrian, right? Aren't they? What are they?
I don't
I think
know.
so.
Yeah,
I don't know. Let's go equestrian.
Yeah.
Sure. but like pissed off, probably equestrian noises come out, but she's trying to say pretty much like, what the stop touching, what is happening?
Okay.
And she's probably gonna take like a few large steps backwards.
Yeah.
Like, no, stop.
So it's not quite the like everyone coming in and then crossfiring each other, but Marie, the three of you are like pretty intent on catching this thing, and then you just like end up in this like bumping off of each other, and there's like some fur, and then the creature is standing like 10-15 feet away from you.
Question.
Go ahead.
Are the guards aware of some of my more...
You tell me.
Okay.
Are they?
I think they would be aware that something like cast like a globe of darkness. I don't think they would be aware what happens inside the darkness.
Oh, like the slurping, that kind of darkness?
I don't have that yet, sadly.
Oh, okay.
I just have
Gotcha.
like level 2 darkness. But in level 2 darkness, I use that form.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I assume like Alphonse knows about it, but okay.
All right.
Good to
All
know.
right. Okay. So, Lilith, you see all this happening. You were kind of trying to direct the creature over to look in the mirror. Feeling pretty certain that this is actually Lyra. What do you do?
I'm gonna yell out to Dizzy just to say what my hunch is, that
Okay.
I think it's Lyra, and I'm gonna grab a little piece of cheese because I don't really have anything left, just a little bit from my meal kit, and set it, like, get Lyra's attention and set it on the ground and see if that'll bring her back
Okay. So,
and mellow out.
like, the tall woman like waves this like fairly decent sized piece of cheese. It looks a little smaller in her hand than it would in someone else's hand, but waves it and then sets it on the ground.
Lyra just kind of probably like internally, she just like, really? Like, I'm a fucking mouse. So the elf probably just like looks at the cheese and looks at Lilith and looks at the cheese and looks at Lilith and just stays there.
But Lilith, it doesn't attack you, this creature. Maybe you're onto something.
Yeah. Lilith is just gonna shake her head like, oh my god.
So Dizzy, as this is happening and the sun's coming up, you notice that there's more people kind of gathering, and there's actually a couple people. There's a street that goes along the outer fence, all of the outer fences, but like the one that you can see. So the street's probably 50 feet away or so, and there's kind of some people, a couple of kids that have kind of like they're clinging to the wrought iron fence and watching, and there's a couple other people that have been passing by, and then they're like, what is that? You're just kind of building this larger crowd. What do you do?
I'm gonna look at Lilith and just say, "Are you sure this is Lyra? Like, what makes you think so?"
Make a intelligence check, Dizzy.
I have a -1 modifier for
I'm
intelligence.
sure it'll be
so-
shit. I'm gonna give you advantage because Lilith has said this. But what does Lilith say in response? Nice.
This creature has an attitude like Lyra. It also
These
is holding
creatures have
Lyra's
been-
dagger, and if it were aggressive, if it needed to be damaged, we would already know. I think it's Lyra, but it's fickle. It's kind of pissy. It's her. I know it.
Okay. Well, I glad that I had advantage on that.
Yeah. So it's really this creature has the same attitude that Lyra has. It clicks. Lyra doesn't like to be touched. Every time somebody's tried to touch this creature, it moves out of the way or it gets really angry. Like when Lilith almost got bit, it was because Lilith was trying to rub this creature's muzzle. It makes sense, but you're really not sure how Lyra ended up like this.
Okay. Well, I will listen to Lilith.
Okay. Is there anything you want to do to...
Maybe I will play my instrument.
Okay. What do you... What instrument are you playing?
I'll play the lyre.
Okay. While this is going on, Marie, what are you and your fellow guards doing?
Well, one, I'm just giving them the eye that like we're gonna have to talk about what just happened, like later. But I assume I heard them saying like this is our friend.
Yeah. It doesn't. They don't seem to be trying to keep anything secret.
Okay, well then that kind of changes things because I can't attack this thing because I'm not good to attack a guest. I also can't just leave it run around because you say there are people like just walking by the manor being like, oh, there's monsters over there.
Right. Go ahead and make me... Do you have Arcana?
She does have Arcana.
Why don't you make me an Arcana check?
She did a thing!
Finally, the roll's above 10. It's amazing. So you have heard stories. I don't know if you... It's kind of up to you on whether you've seen creatures that can shapeshift before, besides your boss. The jackal wares are kind of a new thing to you because they would have been free previously before you were born, and their release has been only just verified by this group of people. But you've heard stories of other people who are born or cursed with a shape-shifting condition. Maybe this person has something similar.
Gotcha.
Most of the time when you hear them in stories, they're like wolves or rats or stuff. This is like an elk, and that's kind of weird, but other than that, it kind of matches up.
Okay, I guess it makes sense. So I'll just kind of like monologue that out loud, put the sword in, and try to like stare this person who apparently doesn't like to be touched. Is there a room where she can like destroy things without destroying the fine china, or like where can I put her where she can be happy and not like have eyes on us?
That is a good question. So there is a fairly distinct lack of like rooms in the household that don't have breakables. However, there is like a shed. It's a fairly large shed where like the gardener's tools and stuff are kept. It would be hard to break things in there.
Okay. Then I'll try to stare the shape changer into the room by like, I'm gonna pet. Yeah, go this way, and hopefully it works.
So it's kind of like that.
Heard
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but instead of touching, it's more like the I'm gonna touch you, and
Right, like,
and it just is like
Go
no, get away
a
from
little of this one. Yep. Yeah.
me. Do you tell them that or
Yes. So
Okay.
like being very open. Like there's a shed. Let's see if we can get her in there, and then we can figure out what to do. Like, apparently, you have a shape changer in your group, which would have been great knowing as the guard beforehand. But it's too late now. We'll deal with that later.
Dizzy?
Can Lara hear all of this, by the way?
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Yes. Does it make sense? Is the question. Why don't we do
okay.
a charisma save again?
I give up. I literally.
I love these rolls.
Right? Like you hear the words and you feel like they should make sense, but I mean, obviously they're not talking about you.
Can't be talking about.
Right. And so it doesn't really click. There's no understanding of what's going on necessarily.
Okay.
but
Okay.
you know there is like a person trying to like kind of guide you kind of back the way you came, but then off into the large like courtyard that's in the back of the house and towards a smaller building that seems to be also made of stone and has like a double door. Do you allow them to do so, or what's your reaction to that? Actually, sorry, before we get your reaction, what are Dizzy and Lilith doing which may or may not help the reaction?
I'm gonna keep playing my music. Maybe,
Okay.
you know, Lyra hearing it will help, you know, calm her down, make her know that we're friendly.
Perfect. And Lilith, what are you doing?
Is just going to look at her and start talking to her as if it is in fact Lyra, and just try and like nod her head, looking for some kind of agreement. You know, are you Lyra? Are we friends? Tell me what you remember.
Okay.
And just try and communicate like a normal conversation with her.
So initially there's like this person trying to like, you know, herd you in a direction, and it's more of a like trying to not be touched that you're like moving, but then you know, there's this kind of calming sound that seems familiar, and there's this voice from this woman that seems familiar as you're kind of moving to not be touched. What do you do from there?
I mean, there's probably a heavy sigh from the creature Lyra, right? Just like, and she'll like kind of trot off into the direction, like, fine, I get it. Like, you know. She'll allow herself to be herded by this unknown person.
Okay. All right. So as you get closer, you notice that the door opens and like some of the gardeners are coming out. They're carrying tools and stuff, and they just stop and look at the group. Marie, what do you do?
Instruct the guards to just like stay outside, tend to anyone else who has been wounded. Do we have like a magician on call, like who can cast like a dispel or something?
I mean, there's not really a wide
Figure.
assortment of magic here in Paradon. Most of the magic that happens are blessings given by the Church of Man.
Then get a preacher or cleric from the Church of Man and get them here. Make it one who's like seen some shit in their day, because like I don't know how to explain what this is.
Okay. One of the guards heads off. The gardeners who were like coming out with their tools just like sidestep and watch as the creature goes in through the double doors, ducking their head to not like smack them against its antlers against the top of the doorway. Lyra, you go into this like large room, and it has just a whole assortment of tools and buckets and various pieces of like wrought iron fence that are like laying against the wall, and you have a fairly decent amount of room to move around. And are you all locking Lyra in there, or what's your plan?
Yes.
Didn't think that far ahead, so
I was just like, we're in, all right, we're done.
For her own good.
So Marie, do you tell the gardeners what's going on, or?
I tell the gardeners, don't come in. Like, take the morning off. Like, go. We got other stuff to take care of right now.
As they're like leaving, they kind of just set the tools down outside. You notice Alphonse Calvet is coming towards the building. He has like a night robe pulled over, and he looks disheveled, like he's just recently awakened, and is kind of walking quickly towards the building. Is anyone staying in the building with Lyra, or are you like closing the door and staying outside?
I think I'll stay in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay in as well.
Okay. Are you is the plan to close the door or just kind of hang out in this area with the door open? And
If
Maybe closing the door would be for best, so she doesn't just, make a mad dash.
Yeah, Lilith is gonna sit right in front of the closed door. Just plop right down.
so as like you're closing it, there's like this quick hand that sticks in and like opens the door, and Alphonse sticks his head in and just like gawks for a moment, and then looks behind him and slips in. Everyone notices this like ripple of his features, which you've noticed only like a couple of times. Either he's shown you, or like when he's very distracted or upset, there's like a loss of his coherence as far as him maintaining the features of this face, as he just like gawks at this sight before him. So what's going on?
apparently one of your guests is a shape changer, and we're just trying to figure out.
Yeah. I mean, of course, there's no judgments here, but maybe having warned us about that would have been good.
I mean, this is news to me, so yeah, I'm about as surprised as you are.
Very good. Is there anything I can have sent out for you?
I feel like Lilith is more prepared to answer that. I still really have no idea what's going on.
If we could get something from Lyra's, well, no, we're good for now. We're good for.
Okay.
She won't recognize her own stuff. She's fine.
I have a meeting. The captain of the guard called on me this morning and is waiting. So if I have any news for you as far as our current dilemma, I mean not this dilemma, obviously, but our other dilemma, also having to do with shapeshifters. What are the odds? I'll be in the house. And he just like goes back out and shuts the door.
That's fair.
Just like that gif of like, just like closes the door behind him.
Right? You just see like an eye click.
Yeah.
What do you all do?
Lyra probably flops down. Now, whether that looks humanoid or equine, doesn't matter, but she probably just like hops in a flop and just like.
So everyone watching has this like kind of weird, awkward moment as this creature like tries to sit down like a person with their awkward digitigrade legs with hooves, which then they kind of like move to like, side sit, and then like tries to lay down with these massive antlers. Obviously, this is not a result of nature, as like there's some weird awkwardness going on, but Larry managed to get into a comfortable position, and you just kind of relax. Dizzy, what are you up to?
I'm just gonna talk to Lilith. Like, how did you know? Like, what made you aware of this, and why did you not tell us before?
And Lilith will respond momentarily when they realize. Hi.
Lilith, I have no idea if I'm even still right, but it just seems like her mannerisms and the fact that she's holding that knife means that it's her. Otherwise, I have no idea. This is all new to me.
This sounds like something that Twiggy would say. So I'm
And
I just imagine that Twiggy is just blissfully passed out in bed after eating a huge feast of food and it's just like wing over his face.
well, now that you mention it, you're like, wait, where is Twiggy? And in hindsight, you don't remember seeing Twiggy when you got up. Like, you got up and you left, and I mean, Twiggy's pretty brightly colored, but you were in such a rush, and everything was going on. And Lilith, you like, you saw Dizzy, and you were just like, "Come on, we gotta go." And there wasn't, but both of you kind of like, clicked that Twiggy hasn't been here through all of this.
Do you think Twiggy had something to do with this?
Of course, Twiggy had something to do with it. Of course.
Of course, Twiggy had something to do with it. Marie, what are you up to?
Sitting down, eyes like looking down at the ground, making sure I don't make eye contact with anybody. I might ask a few questions, but never that eye contact.
Okay. What questions do you ask?
If anything, I'd be asking, like, getting to know them more, and then asking any questions that about either like people or things that this Lyra might be able to see through the haze of equinus.
Does anyone have any suggestions?
I don't know. Lilith is thinking, well, maybe cure wounds on her. If that would help
She is
her.
injured. She is injured. Don't forget.
Yeah. I think Lilith is gonna try and cure wounds, knowing that she's injured.
Okay.
In attempt to just kind of like befriend.
So a couple of things. One, you know that will take touch, and therefore there might be a bad reaction. How do you want to do that?
I'm gonna talk to her reassuringly, even though it seems like she doesn't get what I'm saying, and just, this is for your own good. It's okay. And I'm gonna kind of rub my hands together, like, it's healing, like, healing, good, healing, and then try and touch her.
Okay. What do you think, Lyra? Is there any reaction?
Can she understand her? Like, how much understanding is going on here?
Yeah. I feel like there's a general concept that's coming across.
Okay. Lyra probably like tries to mumble something like, "I'm not a fucking child." But probably just comes out as like, yeah. She'll just like sit there, but like her eyes are dark, but she just like sits there like.
So
Actually, there's probably a good like.
The first.
Like,
there's like a bunch of them coming through. So the first one was 11 points. So.
Okay.
So you heal 11.
Oh my God.
And there's like this just like relief of like the wear and tear of like jumping out the window, or like rather off the like incline that you had been on, and there's like this like weird doubling up as you think about it. Like you remember doing both, jumping out the window, but also being chased by the hunter and jumping down that incline. And Lilith, when you come back, you also notice that Marie has some large puncture wounds that aren't bleeding heavily. They're just kind of trickling. It looks a little more like surface wounds than like deep goring action. But I don't know if you...
Yeah,
you
I
notice.
would like Marie as well, and I guess disregard all the other random cure wounds that went through because it wasn't coming through on my end.
Oh.
And we'll try again.
Okay, so that's 8 or 7 or let's go with 8. It's higher.
Okay.
So, thank you very much, and I'll be like staring at your like left shoulder when I say that.
All right, so as everyone's kind of calming down, relaxing, Mick, are you still playing your lyre?
Yeah. Just hoping that it, lightens the mood some. Maybe it'll reach Lyra.
So as this is happening, in Lyra, you've been healed of. Are you fully healed up now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're healed up. You don't feel that wear and tear anymore. The music's very soothing, very familiar, very calming. And as you just hear Adela and Lilith and Dizzy talking to one another, like it's just familiar and it's calming. And you just like lay your head down in the most comfortable fashion you can, and just kind of drift off. And around you, things just fade back into the forest, and you're standing there again, and you don't feel the presence of the hunter. You don't see any signs of that gray-haired human with his strange thunder stick. You don't feel in danger. You feel quite safe, actually. And as that happens, you notice that there is an elk that walks away from you, like it was passing by you. You didn't hear it come by you or anything, or come up behind you. It's very quiet. In fact, as it moves away, you don't notice it stirring the grass or anything. You don't hear its footsteps. And it just kind of like glances back at you and then walks deeper into the forest.
Can I follow it?
Sure.
Okay. I was gonna try to she's gonna follow it, not chase it, because she just went through that hell.
Yeah.
She's just gonna, I mean, if it's walking off, she's gonna walk off after it. Okay, we're going this way. Well, let's go this way. She's gonna, I don't know. I don't think she would try to talk to it. I really don't. I think she would just kind of follow it to see either A, where it's going. But while she is trying to recognize the forest, I mean, she's been in a lot of forests in her lifetime. She's do I know where I am?
So the types of trees look familiar, but it doesn't seem like a familiar forest. It's definitely a different makeup of trees combinations and such as that you don't recognize it.
Okay. Well, Lyra's still gonna try to follow this elk because she's very curious about this thing, and she knows this thing can be violent, as she's experienced before. So she's just gonna kind of quietly follow it in a non-menacing way, if possible.
Okay. In the garden shed that is very nice, made of stone, kind of fortifiable actually. Marie, Lilith, and Dizzy, you're all hanging out and conversing, and it's kind of gotten to the point you're all just kind of relaxing and comforted enough that you almost don't notice as Lyra's head just kind of slowly lowers to the ground as the horns fade away and her face takes on its normal features and proportions, and her legs with an audible crack is really the first thing that you actively notice, and you look and they're bending back the way they would be in her half elf shape, and she has feet now. What were you wearing when you went to sleep, Lyra?
For all intents and purposes of an appropriate stream, Lyra was wearing probably just loose garb, a loose tankish tunic and leggings. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably that.
So yeah, her feet are bare and she's wearing that outfit,
yeah,
not her armor and such. And her hand is still clutching the dagger, but it kind of relaxes finally as her whole body just kind of settles into itself. What do you do?
Of course it was her the whole time.
Lilith just stands over. Ah, I was right!
I told you so.
Right. Dizzy, what do you do?
I'm just gonna look on in bewilderment, and it's like, yeah, I guess you were right, Lilith. We should ask Lyra about what happened, right? Yeah, I think that would be the best course of action.
Do you wanna wake Lyra up?
Oh yeah, I want to wake Lyra up.
Okay. How would you like to do so?
That's a good question. Actually,
Excuse me,
I
guard. Can
will-
you shake her?
I will pull out my horn and I will play it loudly, somewhat near Lyra, to startle her awake, maybe,
Yeah.
without touching her.
Well,
You touch her. No, you touch her. No, you
Right.
touch her.
so even though Lyra's grasp has, relaxed on the dagger, that dagger grants Lyra advantage on her perception, which makes your passive perception like 19 or something.
18, 19.
Yeah. And so your horn blaring rips you out of this dream, and as you're like sitting up jolted, there's like a moment of confusion because it was a dream and you realize that, but it was so real, almost like you can like feel the elk's fur and like feel its fear as it was running through the forest and trying to get away from the hunter and try to make sure that it was safe from these other people. Oh, but you realize Lilith was there and Dizzy was there and this stranger was there too. And you're in a gardening building or something. There's like gardening tools hung on the wall, and what do you do?
So Lyra is jolted awake, and that loose grip on her dagger probably immediately is tightened. She's like, what? She's like, like stabby thing, and she'll look at Dizzy and be like, what the hell?
Dizzy, there's like a ting of metal on metal as she like whips that dagger up, and you were standing close enough that your horn was kind of like over there, and so like ding, and she's like, what's going on? What do you do?
I'm like, can you tell us what's going on? You were a weird elk creature, and you you attacked us.
I did. Lyra's like very like she's like, no.
Yeah, and that dream you had last night when you were in your bed, and you're not really sure how you got out here, but it's fading away. You remember something about a forest. Like everything that was there is just rapidly fading away.
Yeah, she's like, what are you talking about? Who
Yeah.
Who are you? She looks at Marie and she's like, who are you? Yeah, what? What? No.
Do you think we're in a barn?
I don't know. Where's Twiggy? Twiggy, stop this.
It is all Twiggy's fault. As this conversation's opening, Marie, you notice like a sliver of light appears on the wall, and you glance over, and the door is like slowly creeping open as Alphonse glances back in, and now he's fully dressed, doesn't look disheveled any longer, and you can see the captain of the watch standing outside behind him. Alphonse's eyes kind of like light up. He's like, oh, everything is settled then, I take it.
Yes, sir. Everything is fine. We are just doing a little cleanup right now.
So glad to... Wait, cleanup. Do we need a large pooper scooper?
No, not that type of cleanup.
I guess it would be in that building anyway.
Which means good thing we came here.
Well, I'm very glad to see you, Miss Lyra.
Uh-huh.
Well, with that, I just wanted to let you know that the captain of the watch, who has a name...
Totally has a
He
name.
totally has a name. And it is Timothy Berengar. Captain Berengar has received some information that might interest you as far as the perhaps the whereabouts of that item you're looking for. So when you're ready, feel free to find me in my study. Marie, you know the way. Could you show them when they are
Yes,
feeling
sir, I
freshened up? Excellent.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, good to see you again. And he closes the door.
Larry's gonna look at Dizzy and be like, "What are you talking about?"
Do you not remember? You attacked us. You attacked me. You tried to bite Lilith. You were a weird elk creature. I think you jumped out of a window just like Twiggy did earlier. That's all I really know. I feel like Lilith is the best person to ask because she was with you.
I was gonna be like, "Elk creature," like something like is like niggling in the back of her brain, but she's gonna be like, "Lil,
You
what is
were
Dizzy
an
talking about?"
creature. It's true. I woke up and you had taken a different form and you were leaning over your bed holding your knife. And I'm really sorry, but at first it freaked me out. So I cast Moonbeam on you. You didn't seem to like that very much, and then you jumped out the window. But because you're so persnickety about being touched and some certain things, it just seemed like you. I thought it was you. So I'm happy to be right about that because I wasn't totally certain.
How did I get back? What if I was an elk creature? How am I back? How? This makes no sense.
I mean, we were talking and you were falling asleep, then we were not paying attention to you, and then all of a sudden you were there.
Lara probably just like buries her hand in her hands, right? And you hear like this very muffled, like, "I hate it here," right? Like just like it's just this like very muffled, like, "I hate it here." You know, just like she's gonna look to Marie and be like, "I'm sorry. Who are you?"
It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Marie Lalange. I'm a guard for Alpha.
There's like an and like an up and a down, and then she turns back to Lilith. Like that's just like,
And when she introduced herself, she was like looking at your feet, like not at you at all.
Perfect. Yeah, that just gives Lyra even more reason to just kind of like brush her off a little bit. Like,
Yep.
"Oh, okay, you're a guard. Great, cool. You can go now." Is like her attitude. Her attitude is like, "You can go now." They're like, "We're good here, thanks." She doesn't actually say that. She's like, "I don't understand this place. Oh, have we had breakfast? Did I eat anybody?" She's like, "Oh my god." Yeah.
There's an awkward silence after you asked if you ate anybody.
Guys, did I eat anybody?
I have no idea.
I mean, honestly, if you're still hungry, you probably didn't eat a full person.
I mean, not that I know, but I mean, there was a period of time we didn't actually see you, and you're just kind of running through the town. So maybe.
And Twiggy's still missing.
I was like, I mean, Lyra's a vegetarian. She's like, "Elks are herbivores, right? Elks are herbivores. Why would I eat somebody absent out?" And like, Lyra has fully gone back into that like paranoid spiral. Like, this place has screwed with Lyra's head, right? She's like, "Oh my god," right?
For what it's worth, as you're like, kind of thinking about it and starting to like worry about having eaten somebody, and you notice that Twiggy's not there, you don't taste fur in your mouth, and that you don't notice there's no glitter on your face or in your teeth or anything, so you feel fairly confident that you did not eat Twiggy.
Perfect. And Lyra's gonna be like, "Can we go maybe have breakfast, talk to Alphonse about info about the thing?" She kind of pauses and like glances to Marie and like, "The thing we're looking for."
Yeah, no, I have no care what you're looking for. My only job is to escort you to the meeting place. That's it.
Great.
So do you want
Breakfast?
to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, Lyra's just like, great, breakfast.
Do you all
everybody
want to
else.
head inside the manor and get some breakfast?
Yep, that sounds good.
Do you want to eat the breakfast and then go find Alphonse, or do you want to take it with you or have it brought to the room where he is waiting?
I
Lyra doesn't really
will
care.
pass that on to someone else.
Lyra, what are you thinking? I can tell that Lilith is having some celestial problems over there. So
That's all right. Yes. Lyra's probably thinking like, let's just take breakfast or have breakfast brought to us
okay.
while we talk to Alphonse. Like she's ready to like, all right, well, this has been a really weird freaking night. Let's go.
Okay. So
I'll
Marie,
agree.
as you escort them in, and a couple of the staff are not like there to help them, but they notice them and they're like, "Is everything okay?" And, like to you, and what do you say to them?
I said, oh yeah, everything's fine. We should be back to normal in about an hour.
Okay.
And just keep walking, like not even like turning my head.
As you walk by, they're like, "Can we get you anything? Breakfast should be served here in about 30 minutes."
Who?
To the group that's been staying here. Okay. Lilith is like, "Yes, absolutely, but we're going to be over here in Alphonse's study," and they're like, "Okay, great, we'll bring it to you." And so Marie, you lead them down. There's a hallway off the front of the house and to the study, which you open, and you see that the captain of the watch and Alphonse are both seated at his desk, and they turn to look at you. The room is in the interior of the house. There are no windows here, but is very well lit with candles. Alphonse closes a book and sets it aside and says, "Oh, please come in and sit down." And you notice that there are several chairs here now, as though he were obviously expecting you. Dizzy, what do you do?
I'm actually not sure what I would do right now.
Okay.
Well, Lyra's gonna probably flop into one of the chairs.
Okay.
And like in her very like, the best way I can describe it is like one leg out, one leg up on a chair, like arm on the elbow, and she's like arm on the rest. And she looks at Alphonse and she goes, "Was I an elk?" I just
Apparently, I didn't see this. It would have been. Oh no, wait. He did see it in the room. Apparently, you were that creature. I didn't get to see your transformation, but according to my guard here and your friends.
Lyra is going to, before they talk about the hand or anything, she's like, "I have questions for you.
Of course.
When you shift, do you remember things? I don't know what happened, and I don't like that." I was like very punctuated
see.
about it. Do you
Interesting.
know what happened?
I do. I retain all of my memories when I shift. I have heard of a curse that, how would it be best described? Releases a certain level of beastiness in a person. Typically, never heard of an elk before. Our tales are full of werewolves and were-rats. I believe there was once a tale about a were-bear and his long-lost elven love. But other than that, I don't think that I've heard of any of my kind that have issues retaining their memories. There is one of our kind here in the city that has a hard time retaining his form. but not his memories.
Hmm.
What's your passive
But-
insight there, Lyra?
Passive insight is not great. 11.
Why don't you roll me an insight? Just curious.
Okay.
There's definitely a distaste to his words as he's talking about this other doppelganger. Not quite on par with how he speaks about the jackal wares, but you can get the feeling he does not like this shifter that can't maintain his form. File that in your basket.
Yeah, that's filed away a little bit. She's gonna kind of be like, I don't. She has a lot to think about, right? She's just like, all right, cool. So the hand.
Do you mean the jawbone?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just
The
making
jaw-
sure
that's
I
an
was.
out of
I'm like,
character.
am I forgetting a hand?
No, that's an out of character thing. Sorry. That's me
Um,
getting campaigns mixed up.
does
Sorry.
anyone else have
Jawbone.
any questions before Alphonse dives in?
I'm gonna ask. So a curse? So does that mean that it can be removed, or is this something that we're gonna have to consider? Like, why did it just happen now? Like,
Alphonse strokes his finely manicured beard and says, I don't quite understand how things like that work, but often in our tales, like, curses are broken by certain deeds or magics. I could have someone look into it for you.
I would
appreciate
like
that.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you like this new found ability.
The daggers that Lyra glares at Dizzy might as well be real. Might as well be real.
So that's a yes? No. Lilith, do you have anything?
No, I think if there's information to help her, I definitely am interested, so we can, help her and not have this situation again.
It would help to know how this happened to you. Do you know? Were you bitten by a an elk creature, or did you have some powerful witch lay a curse upon you?
Not celestial elk, but like a ghostly, ghouly elk, whatever you want to call it, right? Does she?
I'm gonna have you repeat that because I'm pretty sure you froze for a moment there.
Oh no, yeah, my Twitch just restarted and all that fun stuff. Okay, yeah. Lyra, I mean, clearly remembers being run through by a otherworldly, not celestial,
Yeah,
with proper C, but I don't think that's really something she'd forget.
Yeah.
Unless she would forget that.
No.
I don't know.
You definitely remember.
Okay, I mean, Lyra's gonna be like, does getting run through by a ghost elk count?
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe it counts. That's a new one.
I don't know. There was a mansion. There were a lot of creepy portraits, a lot of creepy things. I got dragged up a chimney by a blanket. Fake portraits watched me, and then a ghost elf ran me through while I just stood there.
Huh. Where was this mansion? I could send someone to investigate. Perhaps there are clues there.
Through the mists on the other side of the orchard, up the hill.
I see. Well, because that avenue is likely closed to us, I will have someone head to the library and see what information they can find. Hopefully we'll get lucky, right?
Oh, and there was this really weird, and Lyra kind of like pauses and she's like, yeah, never mind. Like, she's thinking about like the food and the weird hole and the thing, and she's like, that's a sidetracking thing.
TMI.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, the captain here has been looking into rumors as far as our. And he kind of glances up at Marie. Would you mind stepping outside for a moment?
Of course, and she will leave.
Okay. Not that I don't trust Marie. She's been on for several months now, but just in case, not sure who we can trust these days since our enemy can wear the face of anyone. The captain has found rumor that the jawbone has been removed from the church and taken deep under the city by the Merikith Queen. And he kind of seems a little put off or maybe nervous about this. Of course, I never want to ask things of you that you would feel uncomfortable with doing, but if you are in for the long haul on this, then perhaps I could ask you to look further into this and maybe retrieve the jawbone. I know you're anxious to return to your homeland, and opening the gateway again, the portal that ships can leave on, I think would be your best bet. But of course, I don't want to infer that this is your only option.
Kind of wants to be like noticing. She says, "You are to get us out of here." But she doesn't say that. She's like,
Lilith feels like it's all kind of connected, like maybe the jawbone will actually help them get out of here, and while they're looking, they can also keep looking for like the back door type.
Gotcha.
from upstairs, you just hear this like quiet, like, "There's a-" like there's always a back door, like from Twiggy's room.
Dizzy, what are you thinking?
I think we should follow this lead because it also might help us figure out what's going on with the weird water and weird fish situation.
Excellent. About this time, Marie opens the door and a couple of workers come in and set plates down for you all. If you don't mind, please feel free to have your breakfast. I'm going to step out for just a moment. We can work out details as you wrap up. I'll be right back. And he steps out. As he leaves, is anyone doing anything? Are you going to chow down? What's your plan?
Lyra's hungry, so she's just gonna like go to town on breakfast.
Okay. Dizzy?
I think I'm gonna chow down too.
Okay. Lilith, what are you doing?
Lilith is going to take this time to kind of meditate and talk to her Almighty a little bit for some guidance.
Okay. So as
Just privately in the corner.
as the three of you are sitting there, Dizzy, your passive perception is 11.
Mine is 11.
Okay. So you realize you kind of like not necessarily miss in like a emotional kind of sense, but you're eating and there's like a distinct lack of talking while eating and shoving into his face. Twiggy like explaining how this is the correct way to treat, those from the Fae Court and all of these things. And how you feel about that is totally up to you. Lyra, you also notice this, and you also, there's like a certain little thought that crosses your mind, because by this point in breakfast, Twiggy would have been asking Lilith if he could, eat that from her plate, and is she going to finish that? And Lilith's plate is just, sitting there untouched. just a little weird curiosity that crosses your mind. As the door opens again and you're all mowing down or meditating, Alphonse comes back in and sits down. He has a cup of tea and like a little plate that has a scone on it with a little smear of some kind of yellowish jam or something. And he goes back and reopens the book that he was looking at when he came in. You can see like drawings of the group that had trapped the jackalwares originally, and he's like flipping through that, kind of looking for information. Chaz, because I'm not sure what your plan is. Outside in the hall, when he'd come out, Alphonse was like, so I feel like perhaps I would like to send you with them, but I know that you have duties here and that are beyond the scope of just, you know, being a guard at my house. Do you wish to go with them? I don't want to ask anything out of my purview.
So she wishes a strong word, but I think it could be good.
I see. Excellent. I will make sure that accommodations are made for you to accompany them.
Thank you.
And so when Alphonse is back in the room and he's kind of flipping through, he's like, I hope it is no trouble, but I believe I'm going to send Marie with you. I have a good feeling about her abilities to help you and to, you know, help you maintain a sense of who is being their true self and who isn't. Perhaps. Something about her nature has me quizzical. If you don't mind.
I think we would appreciate any help we can get at this point.
Excellent.
Agreed.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well then, when you are all ready, feel free to rest. Obviously, your night was eventful, so there's no need to rush necessarily, but again, the sooner you do find the jawbone and we all rectify the situation, the sooner, hopefully, we can send you all back home.
Lilith is pleased with this, so she just nods,
Okay.
looks at everybody.
Dizzy? What's
Sounds
Dizzy
like a
feeling?
plan.
I just want to get out of here, honestly, and, look for leads.
Okay. And Lyra?
Lyra, it takes a lot for her to make friends to begin with. Like, it took her and Lilith years to become friends, right? Like, to put it lightly, right? Even Dizzy, who, like, she's friendly with, right? Or, she's just like, So, like, when the idea is brought up to the table that Marie is going to come along because Marie just has this knack for knowing, Lyra's like, She doesn't seem, like, overly pleased. Like, she kind of, like, shuts down. She's like, great. Like, in that, like, smile that doesn't quite reach your eyes, right?
Yeah.
She's not going to say no because they need the help from Alphonse, and the others could, use the help. Not her, never her, right? She doesn't need help from anybody ever. But, she's like, okay.
And shortly thereafter, the door opens again, and a very difficult to fly orange furry fairy comes kind of flittering in. Twiggy's belly is like almost distended from the amount of food, and there's just crumbs everywhere. There's a certain stench of alcohol that's like brought in with the fairy, and he flits over and lands at the plate that Lilith has left there. It's like, oh, I'm so thank you. Obviously, you remember that this is the correct way to treat one from the Fae Court with this amount of food delivered precisely at this time on a plate just such as this. And he begins stuffing his face. It's a little slower, and it almost looks like he's in pain from trying to eat. But it appears that Twiggy has spent the night raiding someone's pantry. You're not sure whose. And with that, we will go ahead and close for this week. Any questions?
Lyra has something else niggling at the back of her brain.
Okay.
But I'll do that later because I don't want to forget, and it's not important right now.
Gotcha. Anyone else? Any questions, comments, complaints, concerns, Cuisinarts?
Oh boy, Lyra.
Lyra hates it here. She hates it here.
I mean, to be fair, Ravenloft, the demi-planes of dread aren't really like vacation spots most of the time.
Yes. But Lyra hates it here, and it hates her here.
That's fair.
It's a
fair.
mutual relationship.
All right. Well, with that, I hope everyone has a great week. Thank you for joining us if you're watching live. Otherwise, YouTube on Saturday, probably, I think it's 1:30 p.m. Eastern when it goes live. But join us here next week at 2:30 p.m. Eastern for another live episode of Through the Mist. Bye, everyone. Bye, Lilith. Bye.
Bye-bye.